Hi guys, Alicia here, thenewBcrafter. Today I'm going to show you how to create this super cute twig jar. The supplies that you'll be needing for this project are a silicone mat, rags, burlap, scissors, jute, outdoor cutters, a glass jar, glue sticks, a craft knife, hot glue, a bunch of twigs that you found from your backyard or a forest, rubbing alcohol, and with your jar you're going to want to start out by spraying it with some rubbing alcohol to remove your fingerprints and any oils so that your twigs will stick better later on. So just use the rag to wipe rest of that off. Then you're going to find a fairly straight stick and use your hot glue to glue that on straight down the side of your jar. Now, the hot glue will dry faster the colder your jar is, so if your hands are warm, you can warm up the jar a little bit before just so that the glue does not dry as fast, and it makes things just a bit easier. So you want to hold that in place until it dries, and then find a twig that locks up right next to it, apply some more hot glue, and then apply that stick next to it. You're going to want to apply sticks all the way along your jar in the same fashion, making sure they line up all the way along the bottom. This will make sure your jar stands upright and doesn't always topple over. Now just make sure, go through your pile of twigs and make sure that these sticks do lock together. It'll make it look a lot better when we're done, and make sure to apply a generous amount of hot glue. Once every few twigs that you apply, you will want to take your outdoor cutters and cut off your excess of the sticks. I find it easier to do it at this point so I have a better idea of where to cut them off and they're a bit more even. If it's a really big stick, it may come off of your jar, so you may need to again apply some more hot glue and then stick that down again. This just takes practice and a bit of patience, but when you're done it is all secured on. So I have the proper length cut now and I can stick that down easily. So do this all the way along your jar the exact same way to get a super cute twig jar. Now you can use whatever types of twigs you want, and you could even use some pine if that's what you wanted to use, or you could even use some pine cones. Now just remember to watch your fingers during this process because we don't want to lose any of them. Now if you have a twig that is curved and you don't have any other straight ones left, you can take your curved twig, glue it down the exact same way, and then use a scrap or cut a smaller piece of twig and use that to glue it in between the gaps so that you don't have any huge gaps in your project. Now again, I'm just using some hot glue. You can either put this on the twig or in the gap at this point. I find it easier to put it in the gap, and possibly even do this part in a few pieces. I find it makes it easier again. So at this point, if you do have any gaps along the top where it suddenly curves, you can use your craft knife to help stick that in there to avoid burning your fingers. So the craft knife is kind of using as one of your wonderful digits of fingers. Now I wanted to dress mine up a bit more at this point, so I just got some burlap and I cut that down to my desired width and length so that it could be dressed up a bit more, and this will also help our sticks stay on better in the long run. So just cut that down, and burlap is not the easiest thing to cut, so again, take your time and do not try and go along with the grain of the burlap because not a lot of burlap is actually even. That's why I love it, it's so random. Then on the back of my jar, I tacked down the end of my burlap. I wrapped the burlap around, and again I tacked down the other end with some hot glue. Use anything that you have, like your craft knife or your scissors, to hold that in place instead of using your fingers and burning them. Then I took again a scrap twig and I tied some jute around that, and I tied it just in a simple bow. You could do something much more fancy if you wanted to, but I was for a simple bow in this time, and I just tied that using the same method I would use to tie my shoe. Tied that in a nice pretty knot, and then I trimmed off the excess twig on that to hide that. You could wrap this all the way around your jar, but I wanted to just stick this on the front and not be able to see the rest of the jute. So again, watch out for your fingers, especially here. Then at the front of your jar, apply a glob of hot glue, stick down your bow, and that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel to see lots more fun tutorials. like this video, and I will see you next time. Bye!